Good morning, traders. I am Emily Ivani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Friday, February 14th. We are looking for love in the markets today. Markets were full of love yesterday, even after a hotter than expected PPI report. Thanks to a stall in tariff talks and a bump in tech, the Dow advanced 342 points, or just more than 0.75%. The S&P 500 added 63 points, or more than 1%. The Nasdaq climbed 295 points, or 1.5%. Bill, let's get into Friday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're down slightly. We're down 0.05%. Yeah, we're kind of directionless right now. Yesterday the big event was the pause and implementation of the tariffs. I mean, it remains a key headline for today. The key here is it's going to allow countries the opportunity to negotiate their trade barriers ahead of any tariff from the U.S. being implemented. So, you've already seen, India's done something, Taiwan's done something. There will be more coming. I think Germany's ready to start talking. But that's really the key headline still today. But later this morning, we do get a couple of economic reports, retail sales and industrial production that could be important. Airbnb, DraftKings, FROG, Goodyear Tire, ROKU, WYNN, WYNN. They're all trading higher after their earnings reports last night. Monday's a holiday. There's no earnings this afternoon, but Monday is a holiday. So Tuesday morning, you got to watch for earnings from BIDU, Floor, FLR, General Parts, GPC, and Medtronic, MDT, Michael David Tom. What else do we have? The House Budget Committee, they passed a budget resolution last night. Now it's going to go to the full House for a vote. Very contentious. It's not going to happen without Democratic support. The Republicans are really going to need to negotiate here, and we'll have to see how that bill turns out. I do also want to point out the Hong Kong market surged last night. China's president's meeting with business leaders next week, in an effort to expand growth. So, that caused a lot of euphoria in, the Chinese markets last night. But let's take a look at what's happening overseas right now. And we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is off. It's trading down 0.41% or 92 points. It's mostly a reaction to the latest batch of earnings results. In London, you're seeing weakness in the financial stocks. You look at the index, it's down 0.17%, but the CAC, on the other hand, is higher. It's higher by 0.35%. And that's the fifth straight session that the CAC is trading higher. Luxury stocks are are positive on earnings results. So that's all good. Then we're taking a look last night at Asia and what happened overseas. The Nikkei fell 312 points, or 0.79%. This is really due to the strengthening yen. I mean, there's markets anticipating an additional rate hike from the BOJ. So, you're going to see some weakness in Japanese equities in the near term. Hong Kong, as I said, it surged. I mean, it was up 3.69% with gains in healthcare and tech stocks. In China, the Shanghai was up 14 points, or 0.43%, and sentiment was positive. China's central bank did indicate that they would support the economy with a looser monetary policy. That was good to see. And then we're taking a look at oil, and oil is trading higher. You got WTI, $71.92 a barrel. You got Brent at $75.74 a barrel. The theme that continues, the continuation of the delay in tariff implementation, that's positive, because tariffs are going to hinder economic growth. So you're going to pause it. That's positive. Now, I also want to point out there is a security conference going on in Munich this weekend. And the key topic for discussion is going to be the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, Zelensky from Ukraine, he won't sit down with the Russians. He won't do it. But they will be talking. So, I mean, that is a step in the right direction. So, yeah, that's happening today, tomorrow, and Sunday, this Munich security conference. And that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, I'll point out that you mentioned a number of interesting earnings that came out after the bell today. And as you mentioned, there is a holiday on Monday, but some important earnings to note coming up on Tuesday. So let's start there. Give us a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to earnings action.
Well, Airbnb, ticker ABNB, Apple Boy, Nancy Boy, they beat by 15 cents and they did it on higher revenue. That stock's up 13.8% this morning. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, Paul, Apple, Nancy, William, they beat by 3 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Stock's down 4.4% this morning. AMAT, ticker AMAT, they beat by 8 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Stock's off by 4.40% this morning. You know, Coinbase delivered a stunning beat. It was like a $3.32 beat versus last year's, and the stock just had an incredible run all day yesterday. And after earnings, it actually hit a high. It actually was trading over $313, but it has pulled back a little bit. It's down like 2% from where it closed yesterday, but those earnings were positive. And Roku, ticker ROKU, they beat by 19 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. That stock is trading higher this morning. What else do we have? Now we're looking for Tuesday morning and what's happening Tuesday morning. We got a number of reports coming out like BIDU, ticker BIDU, Boy India David Uncle. Their EPS is $1.78 and the expected move is 8.20%. Medtronic, ticker MDT, their EPS is $1.36, expected move is 3.74%. And General Parts, Genuine Parts, ticker GPC, Grace Paul Charlie, their EPS is $1.54 with the expected move of 7.93% when they release Tuesday morning, Emily.
Bill, you also mentioned a couple of economic reports that will be worth noting on this Friday. So give us a look at everything we should be watching when it comes to the day's economic events.
Well, we got two reports coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is the retail sales and the import-export prices. Then at 9:15, we get industrial production. And then at 1 p.m., we get the Baker Hughes rate count. In terms of Fed speak, 3 o'clock today, 3 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to be hearing from Dallas Fed Bank President Lori Logan. That's really all I got on the economic calendar schedule for today, Emily.
And Bill, you're watching that earnings action, those economic events, and still you're looking at other types of market moving information, news, data coming out of different sectors and segments. You're looking at merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings. You're looking at catalyst calls. You also watch your stocks group together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So Bill, what else do you see as possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just looking at a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 17 lower, 12 higher, and 1 unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm seeing some gains in Netflix and Tesla, but everything else is down about a quarter of 1%. Apple and Google, they restored TikTok to their app stores. That's positive. Meta Platforms opened Facebook Marketplace to rival ads. Interesting. Netflix apparently bid $4 million for the rights to a Melania Trump movie. Turns out Amazon paid $40 million. I mean, that's pretty high. Okay. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, we're talking NVIDIA. They're taking the stock in Airbus, ticker NBIS. They apparently bought 1.2 million shares according to a filing. Boeing defense makers. Trump tells the allies, via the Trump administration, tells the allies that they need to buy U.S. Military equipment and weapons to keep the NATO alliance intact. Ooh, wow, that's a heavy call. It's positive for the defense sector. Visa, I want to point out, Visa has an investor day next week, Thursday, February 20th. That could be something. In terms of merger news, Papa John's Pizza, ticker PZZA, Paul Zebra, Apple, stock moved high yesterday on reported takeover to interest. In terms of guidance news, Roku, ticker ROKU, they see full year 2025 EPS coming in, revenue coming in at $4.61 billion. Street estimate has it at $4.62 billion, so that's close enough. It's okay. DraftKings, DKNG, they view their full year 2025 revenue 6.3 to 6.6 billion. Street estimate has it at 6.38 billion, so that's a positive. That's an uptick. JFrog, ticker FROG, they see full year 2025 EPS 67 cents to 69 cents. Street estimate has it at 66 cents. That's an uptick. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, they see full year adjusted EPS coming in $3.18 to $3.24. Street estimates $3.17. That's positive. We got to hand it to them. In terms of shareholders meetings, nothing really today. I mean, Capri Holdings, that they're holding an Investors Day on February 19th, CPRI. Jacobs, ticker J, they're going to be holding Investors Day on February 18th at 3 p.m. That could be something there, ticker J. In terms of catalyst calls, EWTX, Edward, William, Tom, X-Ray, JP Morgan put Edgewise Therapeutic on a positive catalyst watch list this morning. That's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us to end this week?
Ticker FLR, Frank, Larry, Richard, that's floor. Earnings are out Tuesday morning. EPS is 78 cents. Estimated move is 10.07%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 4,139 calls versus 2,068 puts. Not 2-to-1, but very, very bullish. Now, the open interest is 79,188 versus 18,674. That's very bullish. Now, major brokers, I did see one lower price target by $1, but keeps the buy rating on it, so that's positive. These California wildfires are kind of giving an indication that they're going to be getting some, positive business out of it, which should lead to increased expectations, guidance. So that's kind of positive. And, I'm hoping to get in 45.15, 45.25. We'll have to wait and see if that can hit. But yeah, that's my pick of the day. FLR, Frank, Larry, Richard, an earnings play for Tuesday morning, Emily.
An earnings play with that one, Bill. And also, you had an earnings play yesterday, as we pointed out earlier in the show. And coming up in just a moment, we will do a recap on that before we sign off for the long weekend. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, take it away.
Euro could gain 5% versus the dollar if Ukraine conflict ends. Maybe. Putin discuss results of his conversation with Trump, unfolding contacts with the U.S. And Russia Securities Council. Okay. Vance wields threat of sanctions, military action to push Putin into Ukraine deal. Owens Corning, Taro C, they're going to sell their glass reinforcement business for $755 million. Bitcoin rises on the relief over the Trump tariff plans. RFK Jr. was sworn as his Health of Human Service Secretary. GameStop, ticker GME. GameStop is considered investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Bristol Myers, BMY, Bristol Myers Squibb, cancer treatment misses primary endpoint in trial. KAI, Kalo, Apple, India, at Cadent. They're going to be replacing NARI in the S&P 600 on the opening on February 19th. Ticker OM, Onset Medical, they announced the resolution of FDA warning letter. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on this Friday ahead of the holiday weekend, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day. It was Coinbase. We heard you give us their earnings beat during your earnings rundown, and I did catch a host of price target raises on the stock this morning. Yesterday after the bell, the company's total revenue for Q4 was reported at $2.27 billion. That's up 88% from the previous quarter and exceeded analyst consensus of $1.87 billion. Transaction revenue, which is a bulk of Coinbase's income, soared 172% quarter over quarter to $1.6 billion. Subscription and service revenue grew 15% to $641 million, driven in part by higher crypto asset prices. Bill, you did kind of see this one as a positive because of the cryptocurrency, and you played this one ahead of earnings. How did your call work out?
Yeah, much like Robinhood, the Coinbase really was working in that same lane. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you look at the cryptocurrency market and has really, had a big bull run since the election. So it's safe to assume that they're going to have strong earnings. And Robinhood did, which was our pick from yesterday, and then the pick from 2 days ago. And same with Coinbase had a great day yesterday. I mean, the fact of the matter is, stock opened up at 284. It fell down to 280.61, but then it just took off. It took off and hit a high of 302 during the trading day. And then after the earnings came out, the stock hit a high of $313.88. I mean, wow, that was a big move. So, it's pulled back a little bit this morning because of some profit taking, but we're looking for the thing to continue to trade strong. So, Coinbase, ticker COIN, Charlie, Oscar, Indy, and Nancy was a big winner yesterday. Big winner, Emily.
Definitely took your profits with that one, Bill. And we will check in with you on Tuesday about today's floor pick of the day. Remember, markets are closed on Monday in observance of the President's Day holiday. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here Tuesday at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.